Yo, what's up guys and girls? Guess what? Today we're looking at a gremlin from NECA. This is from Gremlins 2, the new batch. I think this guy's name is George. Actually, I'm quite positive this guy's name is George because I just got him a few weeks ago. And the main reason that I picked up George here is because my first name is actually George, just as my dad's name is George and my last name is Jones, but that does not mean I like country music. So let's get that out of the way right now. Anyway, George here is a very detailed, almost movie-accurate gremlin figure, and that was the main selling point for me. Like, when I was a kid, I was a huge Gremlins fan. Like, I watched that movie over and over and over again, and then, like, whenever we couldn't rent it, it would actually come on TV, and I had a VHS tape that I had recorded the movie off of TV from, and I watched that movie over and over and over again, and I was so, like, into the Gremlins movies that, you know, when Gremlins 2 came out and the Bat Gremlin showed up, or the Gargoyle Gremlin, that was like the coolest thing I had ever seen. And this is like before I even discovered Turtles. This was something that I just, oh my gosh, I was really into it, to the point where I took one of my school spiral notebooks and I drew a Gremlins comic book based on the first movie, and I wish I still had that, even though the artwork is terrible compared to what I do now, but that's a story for another day. George here is a very detailed figure. He's got some really nice paint apps, like the stripes and the warts and the scales and the spikes coming off of his skin, like the eyes, the eyebrows. Everything about this figure is fantastic. There is an enormous amount of detail, and I wouldn't expect anything less from NECA. These guys, the National Entertainment Collectibles of America, or whatever it stands for, I'm not exactly sure. These guys are really good at what they do. I've got several NECA figures, as does Ryan, I think. Oh my god, George is really cool. There's also Lenny, and for those of you that don't know, and I can't really talk because I just recently found out, George and Lenny are named after the two characters from Of Mice and Men, which I've never read because I'm Chris Jones and I do not read books without pictures. And you can make fun of me all you want to, I really don't care. But it's just really cool. Like, one of the main things that I've always loved about the Gremlins are the shapes of their ears, and how, like, when they become gremlins, they're all like tattered and torn or whatever. George has big lips. He looks like George Burns, or I could be wrong. He looks like some comedian or actor that I can't really think of who had this similar, shaped lips or whatever. He comes with this cigar, which it fits in his mouth. It's just hard to keep it in there, so we'll keep it out for the review purposes. But let's take a closer look at the actual, details on this figure. You can see, as I said earlier, there's a lot of nice stripes and spots and scales and spikes and everything, sculpted into this figure. Like, look at that. Look at this nonsense. That is crazy. That is really crazy. That looks like, I almost expected this thing to be sort of rubbery, but it's actually a hard plastic. But, I mean, it makes sense because this is supposed to be like a scaly, lizard-like, monster that happens, that comes after you feed the mogwais after midnight and get them wet and whatnot. But I mean, even his chest, I mean, there's like bumps and warts all over there. There's some nice muscle sculpted here and there, like the nice skin line, wrinkles in the skin carved there. He has I guess not, it just looks like it. Looks like he has a waist articulation, but he doesn't. It's just a cut right there, I guess, where they put them together. But there are, I think, 5 or 6 Gremlins in this line, and I'm not really exactly sure on that, so don't take my word for it. I have the box. I'm just not gonna go dig it out because it's buried in some stuff in the back room, and I'm just being lazy right now. But even on the back, like, he almost looks like he resembles like a horny toad, or a toad in general. Like the big brown stripe in the middle with outlined in black, and there's some black stripes on the back, and then there's like these little spikes on the top of his head that run down his back. This is I guess it's his tail area, since it kind of just cuts off right there. That's pretty cool too. And then like the feet, oh my gosh, the feet. I don't want to sound like I have a foot fetish here, but I mean, these are some really cool looking feet, like little monster feet. There are 1, 2, 3 claws up front, and then there's the one on the heel back here. You can see it's like looks like a little dragon or a lizard, you know, foot. This is really cool, and like the scales here sculpted on the arm, it's like layer. I mean, I know it's not, it's just sculpted that way, but it looks like layer upon layer of scales. And not only are they just, you know, sculpted that way, the paint job on this thing is so incredible that it's almost like if this were like a fleshy material, you could bend this and you could see the actual skin layer under the scales in this gremlin, because it's like the paint wash that's in there is sort of a fleshy orangish tone. So, you know, it looks like a real thing. I love this. Love the paint on the ears, how it goes from a nice darker flesh color to a lighter flesh color gradient, and then like the way it, you know, cuts off here on the bottom of the mouth and the neck area. That's really cool. The eyes are painted really nicely. Everything on here, I mean, there is no mistakes, and if there were mistakes, you know, you would never notice, because this thing looks like it's painted like a real live gremlin, if such a thing existed. I'm not saying that they don't, but you know, this is really cool. Same thing with his hands. Like his hands, like everything about this figure is pretty movie accurate. I wish that there was, you know, I wish they had a bat gremlin. I wish they had a vegetable gremlin or salad bar gremlin, whatever that thing was called. That was pretty cool looking too, even though I don't like vegetables. But that gremlin, there is also a lightning gremlin, for those of you that remember the movie that well. It is not a very, I don't know, for they're charging like, I guess after tax about $14.99 or $14.60 after tax, but it's, in my opinion, it's not worth it, because it's just well, it's not flat, but it's not really bulky either. It's almost like it's just a piece of plastic with, like, you know, lip, with like a lip for the detail, so like it's raised in certain areas to give it some definition of a face and some claws. But essentially, it's just a flat piece of see-through, translucent, or somewhat translucent blue plastic. And there's a review over on the Foosh, I think, and it's not a very long review, because really there's not much to say about a piece of sculpted flat translucent plastic. So needless to say, that would be one gremlin that I do not add to my collection. But George here is a fantastic, awesome sculpted gremlin, and if you don't have one, you should totally get one. And I mean, I really mean that, guys, honestly. All right, it's evaluation time, and I love saying that, just so you know. Here we have George next to the, I don't even know what year this came out. This is one of the, I want to say, first Gremlins figures that NECA released. It's actually Stripe from the first Gremlins movie, and the cool thing about Stripe is he has real fur, real hair, like the, you know, like the original movie figure did. The paint details, even though this is an older figure, they're really nice. They're really nice, just as George's are. If you want to get a little closer look here, you know, they've got the same scaly details. It looks like an actual, you know, reptilian animal. That's pretty cool. Yeah, same thing with the chest. It's all bumpy and warty, and it's all wrinkly and whatnot. And then like you get to his face. Oh my God, look at that creepy face. But you know, you would think that as a kid, this crap would scare me. But, you know, for whatever reason, I mean, I'm scared of a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm terrified of bees and snakes and whatnot. But this, if I saw one of these in real life, I would probably not scream. I'd probably be like hoping they could talk so they could come home with me, because these things are cool. But this is actually not mine. This actually belongs to Ryan, because he was over here earlier and we were supposed to review this today, but we ran out of time. And he let me borrow it for a while so I can do my comparison with it. But I need to track down one of these. I don't think they cost too much. I need to actually build up my Gremlins collection. But these things stand about 5.5 inches tall. But they're bulky figures, so like you're getting your money's worth. I mean, they're not gonna rip you off like the Lightning Gremlin will. But I mean, honestly, if it were up to me, I would buy, or if I could, I would buy every Gremlin figure in every wave that NECA has released, along with their ET figures, because I love ET as a kid as well. But I would line up one shelf with every Gremlin from every wave they released. And one of the ones I'm tracking down now is the Flasher Gremlin from Gremlins 2. If you remember, he's the one with the trench coat, and he's like flashing, what's her name, Phoebe Cates. think is her name. I don't know, I'm old, I can't remember these things anymore. But that one, and then I need to go back and get Daffy, because Daffy was funny. But these are really nice Gremlin figures, and if you happen to see these in your local comic book shop, or if you're just browsing eBay or Amazon, and you're like, oh my god, a Gremlin, I did not know they made these, then I highly suggest you buy these. If you're a child of the 80s, then no doubt you will want these. These are really nice figures. I mean, there's nothing more I can say about them. You know, they're fantastic. They might scare your younger children if they're not used to seeing things like this, but you know, if you have a little boy, I'm pretty sure he's gonna love these things, because like little boys love monsters, and some little girls to an extent. So these make an excellent gift for anybody who loves collectibles, especially really detailed collectibles that look almost like miniature statues, which is what NECA is known for doing. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Leave us some comments. Let us know how we're doing, good or bad. I know that all of our comments are always held for approval, and that's pretty much just to keep the trolls at bay, because you know, no one likes internet trolls. They're horrible creatures. And make sure to tumblr.com for more photos that you may not see on mine or Ryan's DeviantArt page. But we try to get a lot of photos in different angles, just because, you know, videos are cool, but sometimes you just don't have time to watch a whole video, and you can look at a picture and be like, that's really cool, I gotta go find that, and that's the main purpose of that. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time. Later.